Hey, good morning, everybody. You know, technology is super, super exciting when it works, right? So I'm going to shut this off for a minute. There we go. All right. So I had gone live with my camera in the view that it needed to be in. And of course, it's not charging. I don't know why. So we're going to do this just a little bit different today. Okay. Because I do want to do it, the coffee chat and a card. And I will just show you front screen facing me. Yay, I love it. What we're going to do today. Okay. So I hope some people come back on. If you don't, you can watch this replay, and that's perfectly fine. I do appreciate everybody that sticks with me whenever I have these issues. So my name is, I don't know what she was pointing.
You had something on your eyebrow.
Oh, I had something on my eyebrow. Okay, I didn't see it. My name is Sue Sanders, and I'm a demonstrator for Stampin' Up! In Lake Ozark, Missouri. Let me tell you, if you want real, you got real with me because there is no editing or anything like that with my videos. When I go live, and you get to see everything that goes wrong with my lives. Good morning, Charlene. I'm glad that you are here, dear. Um, I had a couple more people with us previously until my camera froze up and we went and switched cords. Well, that still didn't work. And I think it's because my camera does not have a charge on it. I don't know. I love technology. Not. So we are going to do it a different way today. And one of these days, I'm going to get all this figured out if it kills me. So, we're going to make a really cool card today for our sketch. And it's not hard, and it's something that you could duplicate fairly easy. We're going to start with a base that measures 5.5 by 8.5, and then you score it at 4.25. So, that is your base card. Then you're going to have a layer card that is, I'm looking at my notes here. This is going to be a layer, and it is 4 by 5.25. So that's going to get layered onto our base like so. Of course, it's going to be straight. Then we're going to have another layer, and this is I'm sorry, this is layer 2, and it measures 3 by 5. Then we're going to have 2 pieces of paper. Hi, Anna. So glad that you jumped back on with me. I just so appreciate all you girls that enjoy watching me enough that you're willing to put up with all of the technical issues that I deal with. But we have 2 pieces of designer series paper, and those measure 2 2/3. No, I can't read because my glasses are not on my head. And I wrote this in pencil, thinking that it would be in the light. Hi, Cherie. Thanks for coming back and joining me. I don't know what the deal is, so putting my specs on so I can read. 2 pieces of designer series paper or cardstock, and they measure 2 2 2/3. Well, that is not right. I don't know where I got that from.
You've got
2 3/4. Yeah, well, I wrote it down wrong. I have the right measurement. I just wrote it down.
I was going to say, I had
No, it's 2 3/4. I don't know why I wrote 2 2/3 because I don't do measurements like that. 2 3/4 by 2 inches. Okay, so it's 2 3/4 by 2 inches.
Okay, because you cut that one down for ours.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Okay. And in fact, what is yours measure, Dorothy?
Mine measures 2 by 2.5.
Okay.
And 1 by 2.
All right. We're going to back up. Oh, yeah, the brain is a funny thing, and my brain is really funny. Once I made this card, these hung over all the way to the edge of the card, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to cut these down to make them fit right on my second layer. So we're going to get my trimmer out here. Y'all don't have to watch me cut paper because y'all know how I can cut paper if I can find my trimmer. There it is. So I cut these down to be what did you say, Dorothy? 2 inches by what?
By 2.5
2 by 2.5
and 1 by 2.
and 1 by 2.
That way they didn't hang over.
Right. 2. You'll hear Daisy playing with her toys. She knows exactly where her basket of toys is and she plays with them. Then I have a piece of cardstock that measures 2 1/4 by 1.5, and that is where we're going to put our greeting at. Okay. And of course, Stacy likes her squeaky toys, so you'll hear her squeaking. Okay. All right. So those are the measurements, and I will post those down in the description in a little bit. I want to move this up so I have some light, but it's not going to be glaring for you all. There we go. All right. So very easy to assemble. I am just going to assemble this really quick with my Stampin' Seal, and then you guys can see how it layers out to be. So I'm just layering my first layer onto my card base, trying to get it straight. That seems to be an issue for me lately, is laying things down straight. And I don't know if my sugars are low today or what, but I am just shaking up a storm. So there's my first layer that we've done. Now I'm going to lay down my second layered piece. And I have a challenge for all of my lovely ladies and anyone else that's watching me today or on the recording. And I do appreciate those of you that come in and you watch the replay. Just remember to leave me comments. You know, Charlene, I bet you're right, because I haven't even had a full cup of coffee before I came to the studio. And I had stuff in my hands to carry, so I didn't bring my coffee with me. All right, so there is how the card is going to look. Okay, and I'm going to take and lay our 2 pieces of paper, those 2 designer series papers that I've got. And we're going to lay those down across our card. And this is just discontinued DSP that I always make my sketches in. Because that way then I can, if I make mistakes, which I do quite frequently make mistakes, I'm not ruining current DSP. Okay, so there is what the card looks like so far. So you have those 2 strips that are 2 inches by 2.5, and then the other one is at 1. Okay, now we're going to lay down our greeting piece, or what I consider my greeting piece. And we're going to lay it right over that split. Okay, so it's a very easy sketch to follow. But my challenge to you is make a sketch card, post it out there to Susie Q Stamping Facebook page under the groups Coffee Chat and a Card. Okay, and if you're not already a member of that, just send me a request and I will be happy to add you so that you can post your cards privately and nobody in outside of our group will be able to see those if you're going to plan on sending them to somebody. Okay, so now that we've made the sketch, let's see how pretty it is using real paper. And for this, I have chosen I've chosen Peach Pie for my card base. I have chosen uh, Shy Shamrock. Okay, it doesn't show up as Shy Shamrock. It almost matches my nails. It really does match my nails. That is my layer. Of course, I have my piece of white for the inside. Then I have a piece of Petunia Pop, and I have it embossed with that embossing folder that's online. It's the Pressed Flowers online embossing folder. So this is a really pretty embossing folder to where you can add some dimension to your cards. Okay, so that's an online exclusive that debuted in May. Okay, then for my two little pieces, I'm using some of the discontinued in color papers from last year just because they match the Petunia Pop and everything. So let's get this card going. So, ladies, I can't tell you what they are, but I can tell you that I have seen some preview product from our September to December mini catalog. And I think you all are going to be very pleased with what is up and coming. I took a survey for Stampin' Up, and of course you have to sign a confidentiality, which I don't mind doing. But I was surprised and very pleased with what I seen. Oh, I'm sorry. They're not up and coming in September. They're just up and coming. They may or may not ever be here. I don't know. But anyway, I really liked them, so I put yes. What is up and coming in September is some beautiful sweets and other products that I have seen, and I have pre-ordered some of them. No, can't pre-order them yet. I can in July. My mind is going like 100 miles a minute trying to figure out everything that I gotta concentrate on.
Only because the month of July is going to be like jam-packed.
The month of July, I may as well consider that I'm not even alive, that I will just be totally dead. I have gotten the 200 names for my name tags for Blue Star Mothers Convention. So I will be starting to sublimate those. So here's how the card looks already without our crossover piece. So isn't that pretty? And I love these colors together. I really liked last year's in colors. I like this year's too, but I really liked last year's because they were just kind of soft and all that good stuff. So tell me, girls, what have you all been up to this week? Y'all know about my life. I tell you all about my life all the time. But I want to know about your life. Okay, I'm just laying down my two smaller pieces on the edges. You know what I did? I had a piece of white already cut. There it is. And I thought, oh, this is just a scrap of white. I can throw it away. No, it's what I need. I know. Oh, this piece I didn't cut down. What did I do here? It's 1 1/4. I need to cut this down to 1 inch. I cut one piece down, but I didn't cut the other piece. Or did I? No, I didn't. Give me a second, girls. We have to do some card surgery. You have been busy, but I have no idea with what. I get you on that, Cherie, where, it seems like the day is gone already, and you're like, oh my gosh. Oh, you've been making cards and swimming. Well, isn't that fun, Anna? I have, however, yet to see my Dr. Pool this year. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this is the weekend, that Sunday I will be able to get in the pool, hopefully.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you. Today is my anniversary. So no big plans. We are just going to stay home this evening and have chef salads for dinner because I thought chef salads sounded really good and we didn't get a chance to make them earlier this week. And since I have my all-day class tomorrow, I would rather not cook tomorrow evening. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Yes, Charlene, I hear that's trying to stay cool. So yeah, it's been a week and it's gonna be a month, but I love how things come together. There's my little greeting. Okay, I am going to stamp my greeting and I'm just using from the Notes and Totes. I'm going to use the just a note stamp on the front of my card. Because then this can be used for any kind of card. Whoops, boy, so you don't need to pounce that in there. Just tap it. Just a note. That didn't turn out so good. We're going to clean that stamp because I mushed it. Don't like mushy stamps. If anybody knows of anybody that does technical camera stuff, like how I can show my hands and my face at the same time, give me a shout out because so far Dorothy and I have not been able to figure it out. So it is what it is. But I would like to have you be able to see who your host is. Not that I always like to be on camera, but there are times. All right, I've got my just a note ready now to lay down. So we'll lay that down, and you have your option. You could definitely pop this up if you wanted to. Oh, which reminds me, I must get to the post office and buy stamps before they go up in price next week. I think what the post office is doing to us is outrageous. Okay, so there is our finished card, and there is one more thing I have to add. And I'm just gonna, I've got it here on my desk, so I'm just gonna use it. And this is some white ribbon, and it's from the Botanical Textured Suite. And I am just going to tie a white ribbon.
White bow.
A white bow. I'm tying the white ribbon into a white bow. So, and I am so excited about tomorrow's class. I tell you, I hope the ladies that I've got coming are as excited as I am. Because the cards are just really, really pretty. So I'm just snipping off now my tails. And then I'm going to add this, but we're going to close our ink. We'll open it again. And I'm going to use a little glue dot, or as I call them, the little snot dots. So Sunday, oh, I was going to go swimming Sunday, but I can't. I have a birthday to go to for a little 1-year-old that is just my absolute adorable little friend. I'm going to have her call me Nana Sue because I can, and she is the Nerd Squad at Best Buy. I've talked to them, but I don't know. I know I need to just go back up there and talk to them. I was up there like 2 hours one day. A TV that had picture-in-picture. I don't know if that's the same Charlene or not. Hi, Karen, you're back. You were driving. Well, I'm glad you weren't trying to watch me while you were driving. I tried to do that last night and Dorothy put a stop to it. I don't know why. I wanted to watch my video and she turned it off. Okay, so there is the completed card. So you see, it's so simple, but yet it can be, it can pack a wow if you want it to, okay? So let me show you a couple of cards. You got a couple of them finished for me. Excuse me. That's what happens when I sleep under a fan. Okay. So here is one done. Dorothy and I have a swap in July for our meetup. So this is going to be our swap cards, and we're using the 2 different colors from the designer series paper pack for the in colors. And we've got it on a Stormy Sea base with Timid Tiger over here and Darling Duckling over here. And then we just reversed the images. And then I've got tiny bows that I'm going to be tying on there. So Dorothy is putting those together today.
Attempting to.
Well, she's attempting to. I'm going to show you how I'm going to finish off the inside of my card here. And I am using the same stamp set, Notes and Totes. And there's a little flower in there. And I'm going to take that flower, and my stamp is really, really juicy.
Oh.
So when I stamp with it, it is juicing out all over the place. Take and scrape some ink off of it. Did I say stamp? I meant my stamp pad. What are you looking for?
Forgot to order some stamping seal.
Oh, I've got some. All right, so I am stamping this little flower that's in that stamp set on the inside for the card. Yes, Cherie, a Christmas card would be very, very pretty with this layout. Like I said, it's an easy layout, but you could decorate it so differently that your cards don't necessarily have to look alike, but they can be the same pattern. So yeah, they're really simple card sketches. I know that Anna usually will post something, Charlene will post something, glitter card with a tree, absolutely, absolutely. But make the sketch for me and then post it out there to the Coffee Chat and a Card sketch site on my Facebook page, because I would love to see what you all create, because everybody's mind kind of thinks differently, and I can get super duper ideas from you guys as well as you guys getting ideas from me. So I am gonna just finish this card up. And it's just a note card, so you can write a little note in it to somebody if you want to. And there we have our card, which is a little bit crooked, so we're going to fix that. More card surgery. It's a good thing I have my doctorate in card surgery, right? We're going to do the huff thing to peel that sticky off. I did last week. I huffed and I puffed on a card that had gotten glued. Maybe it wasn't. Yeah, it was glued. It didn't set very long, so I was able to do it. I was able to salvage it. I was so glad. But I wouldn't guarantee that all the time. Okay, so let's lay this down again and see if I can get it straighter. Yep, that's better. Okay, so now I have a completed card. And when I go to send it, I will probably add some embellishments up here at the top, just some rhinestones or some little pearls or something like that, so that it'll kind of give it that wow factor. Okay, so I had a request to explain how to get even card layers. And because I'm a visual person, I can see something and I can recreate it, but I have to see it. I have to know what I'm doing. The easiest way for me, I mean, it's kind of like all in my head right now, but let me start all over again. There are times when my brain isn't functioning. So this next thing that I'm going to show you is something that is very simple. And you can use it for card sketches. You can just make up your own designs with this. So this morning, what I did was, of course, I took a lot of my discontinued cardstock that I had, and I cut it up into all kinds of different shapes. Okay. So I started with my regular card base that's 5.5 by 4.25. And I usually, a lot of times, your first layer is always going to be 4 by 5.25. Okay. This would be much easier if my camera was cooperating, right? But you'll get the gist. Okay. So normally that is our card layer, where it is 1/4 of an inch smaller than our card base. However, if you continue to go down 1/4 of an inch on all sides, you will end up with a whole stack of cut papers that you can lay out on your card front and say, oh, okay, I don't want a real small border. I want a larger border all around. Well, then you would have this piece that measures 3.5 by 4.75, and you can lay that on your card. Okay. So I would suggest, if you have old cardstock or whatever, just start cutting paper, starting with your 5.5 by 4.25, and then cut down 1/4 of an inch each time until you have it. I've got it going all the way down to 1.25 by 2.25. So here's the largest one. We'll see how far I can stack these up that you can kind of see. Oops, that one wasn't the right one, but this one is. I kind of got them mixed up. This is kind of hard to do when you're holding it up, right? All right. But the other thing that you can do with this is you can lay them out. So like this one here, I have them all showing a border except for over here on this side. All right. So you can butt them all up on one side and not have a border showing. So this is a good way that you can just kind of look at all of your pieces that you've got cut and lay them out to see how to layer your cards. Because of course, now I wouldn't use every one of these layers on one card. That would be like way too much. But I could look at this and say, okay, I'm going to use this one and this one. And this one and this one. Okay, so this is what you have by the time you get all of those layers cut. Okay, I guess I could turn it up so that you could see what the writing says. And it's basically just cutting each piece 1/4 of an inch shorter than the previous one. So now what I can do with this, I can take this, and these can go this direction or this direction, doesn't matter. I can take this and say, I want to have, just dropped a piece. I want to have a larger border from my card base. So I'm going to take, say I take then the piece that is 3.25 by 4.5, and that would be my layer. Get it kind of lined up. I'm looking at things backwards to me. And then I want to have another piece that is smaller and more like a frame. So I could do this. Yes, and you could keep these in your sketchbook, Karen. I've just got some of the die cut envelopes because I put mine into the magnetic sheets into my stamp cases. But even a plastic bag, a Ziploc bag, and keep it by your workstation so that when you want to make a card and you're like, oh, let's see, I want to make it with 3 layers, but I'm not sure how to do that or what size I need, then you can pull these out and you have the sizes that you need. So this could be a card right here. Now, of course, it would be straight, okay? But you could emboss several layers of this, okay? The other thing is, let me show you something else that I did to show you girls, is I also did it for those, bookbinding cards, okay? So you usually wind up with a 4x4 that you need to decorate on one side. Well, I went 4x4, and then if I wanted another layer, I could do a 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 square. So that would go on my bookbinding card. Okay. And I have those going all the way down to 1 inch. So if you wanted to, whoops, almost lost my 1 inch. Let's say I wanted to have the 4x4, but then I wanted to have a smaller square in the center that would have a sentiment on it. So then I would pick out whichever one I wanted to. And then, of course, you could dig into your other batch for your rectangles. And there you have a card that has a size for your greeting. Okay. So that's a cool thing to have, is just cut them all up in different size squares. And you may decide, oh, I don't want that many squares. You don't have to. Once you get it in your head how you want to lay out a card, it's easy to know that you're going to cut down 1/4 of an inch. Now, there are times when I will give you a measurement, say 2 1/8. Okay, because I don't want 1/4 of an inch. I want a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. I don't work with those normally because I don't like to work with the 1/8 or the
Yeah.
5/8. But once you get this down and how you do the 1/4 inch decrease, then going the 1/8 decrease isn't difficult. So you can get that done. So there you have rectangles and squares. And then I thought, okay, one of the issues that I sometimes struggle with is doing stripes on a card or strips on a card. So I have my card base, 4.5 by 4 or 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then I cut down 3 strips of paper, and these are 1 1/4 by 5.5 because I divided 4 1/4 by 3. And you have the ability then to make 3 equal portions on your card, like so. You can go one step further and put another strip down. So you've got 1/4 of an inch around your strips. This is difficult trying to hold up something that's supposed to be flat, but you'll get the gist. Okay, so now there's 3 layers: your card base, your one strip that is the blue, and then the pink. Not really on the colors, what they're called, but that's what I'm calling them today. Okay, you can also then take away the blue ones and just leave your 1 by 5 1/4 so that you have a little bit wider space in between each of them. And you come up with something like this. So I hope this kind of helps you. And then, of course, you have the 3/4 by 5 inch strips that you can lay down on top of those. But you could also take and mix and match these to where here's my 5.5 by 4 1/4 card base that is a rectangle. And I'm going to take one of these strips and I'm going to put it over here. And yes, you have overhang, but you at least know and you can see what size you want to make it, and then you can trim off the excess. Okay. Um, it's a good way to take and cut your designer series paper. If you want to go on an angle, you'll know what size strip you need. Okay, so there's a lot of different things that you can do when you've just used some scraps up to cut you different size layers. So I hope that helps. If you have more questions about that, just contact me and I'll be happy to help you with it, because it's not hard. But I know that sometimes people they have to be shown, because there was a lot of times that I have to be shown how to do something. And then once I see it, then I can comprehend it better in my brain that seems to get older and older every day. Okay. So that's just one, that's just a good idea. And you can keep these however you want. Like I said, you can just put them in a baggie and keep them by your workstation. But mark each size like I have, to where you would mark each size, what size they are. That way you don't have to go back and try to measure and you do it all at one time. And it took me maybe 30 minutes to do all three of these. So it's not very time consuming. You could do it while you're watching TV, while you're just sitting there doing nothing. Like I have all kinds of time, right? No. Anyway, so I hope that was helpful to you guys. Leave a comment or send me an email or a text message if you've got my phone number. If there's a special thing that you want to see, let me know, and then I will be more than happy to try that out and see if I can get it to work. And if I can get it to work the way it's supposed to, I will then share it with you guys. Because it's all about learning. And I believe that every day we can all learn something new. In fact, some days I'm amazed at how much I can learn about things and about myself. It's always kind of a unique thing. Well, thank you, Anna. I try to be very helpful. Sometimes my technology doesn't want to play nice, and so therefore it gets me very frustrated. But I make it do. And like I said in the beginning, and if you're watching this replay, friends, I am very real. I don't put on any airs as far as editing my videos.
You're as raw as it gets.
You are seeing the real thing. So because everybody struggles with things, everybody has difficulties doing things, and I want you to see that just because I've been doing this for a very long time doesn't mean that it's perfect every time, because I don't make perfect cards. I mean, okay, so for instance, I will show you something. This was the card I put together last night for the swap with the measurements that was given for this card sketch. Well, you see how my paper didn't line up on the edges? No, they didn't line up. They were a little crooked. Okay. It's not something that I would want to give in a swap, but I can just send this to a friend because they're not going to micro it. They're not going to look at it and go, oh my, she made a terrible mistake. Mistakes happen. And I'm not going to worry about it. It's done, other than some embellishments. And whoever receives this card, I'll make sure that they don't see very well. I mean, if you want to make sure that somebody doesn't see your mistakes, send it to somebody that doesn't see very well, because they're not going to look at it that close. Daisy's wanting my
No,
attention.
Nyla, or no, Anna, that is
So,
not a cat. That
No,
is,
no, it's not a cat. That is Daisy.
well, Daisy, but right now.
Oh,
it's
right now
Nyla.
it's Nyla. It's my doxy.
They
She's
killed-
upset because Grandpa's outside working
they-
and she's not. So yeah, so they were by the door. They're wanting to go out. So, well, ladies, it has been my pleasure to spend the last 45 minutes or so with you all. I love that you joined me. I appreciate all of your positive comments to me. It does make me feel good. So we just keep plugging along and trying to make things perfect, right? So For those of you that are coming tomorrow to my class, be watching for a email I'm going to send out later this afternoon on precisely all of the supplies that you need, so that everybody has what is needed for the class. So until next week, girls, y'all have a great week. We'll see you later. Oh, you know what? Next Friday is 4th of July. I'm not going to do excuse me, I'm not going to do a coffee chat and a card on 4th of July. You all have a safe 4th of July, though. I'm going to be going to sell poppies at Hy-Vee, probably with not sell poppies. We don't sell them. We give them out for free. Anyway, you're going to go finish watching yesterday's, Anna. Okay, well, I don't know how many mistakes because that was done on Sunday. I recorded that. So anyway, you all have a great week and a safe 4th. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye.